Do you keep starting tracks, endlessly tweaking them, hoping to make everything sound perfect, only to get stuck and give up? One of my clients, his name is David, was in the same situation, but with one simple mindset shift, he finished his first ever track in just 2 weeks, and the second one in 1 week. So in this video, I will share with you the 4-step that will take you from an amateur producer to consistently finishing tracks every 2 weeks. Give or take. It can be 3 weeks, it can be 1 week. So all you need to do is imagine that producing music is like a 10,000 piece puzzle. All you need to do is connect the pieces together, step by step. Sounds simple, right? It's not. But when you start assembling the puzzle, you don't magically grab 2 pieces that fit perfectly and complete it in no time. Instead, you'll probably pick 2 pieces that don't connect together at all. What would you do then? Try a different piece, right? So yeah, these 2 doesn't quite fit. Let's try a different one. Well, this actually works. Actually fits. What matters in completing the puzzle is how you respond when the pieces don't fit together. Do you stop everything and start crying like a baby? Or you ask yourself why the pieces don't fit, and try again with a different piece based on what you've learned. Successful music producers always do the latter. It's critical. You look at building a track as nothing more than a giant puzzle, where you consistently create, learn, and improve. When you treat each track as a lesson, you will stop obsessing over individual, unnecessary tasks and avoid decision paralysis too. This is when you will start taking huge steps towards finishing tracks. So step 1, aim to learn one thing from each track and then apply that lesson in the next one. So each piece of the puzzle is important, but no single piece is the whole picture, right? But still, most music producers treat every track like it has to be a masterpiece. This is the piece of the puzzle. It's like your defining piece. You sit down to produce with that pressure that this track has to be the one track that will finally blow. Can you see what the problem with that is? When you treat each track like it's your defining song, you become afraid of taking risks and experimenting. You overthink every decision and stick with what feels safe, and you end up feeling stuck and endlessly tweaking that reverb, not sure if the dry wet should be 15% or 18%. I can tell you, it doesn't matter. You basically stop experimenting and your music sounds repetitive because you're relying on the same old ideas. Or you might burn out and feel frustrated that nothing you do sounds good enough. What you should do is treat each track as it's just a piece from the puzzle. In the same way that you don't expect every piece of the puzzle to fit together the first time, don't expect every track will be a hit. So step 2, stop trying to make every song your best track ever. With step 3, you want to think of your music as a scientific experiment. Scientists don't expect every experiment to succeed. Actually, they need failed experiments to understand what works. If you never experiment and test new things, you will never grow as a producer. You will use the same drum patterns, same synth presets, and that makes your music sound predictable. Of course, it's easy to stick with what works, but comfort is your enemy. Take Lana Del Rey, for example. If she didn't experiment with new arrangements, or didn't experiment with shifting between scales in her songs, she wouldn't count as one of the best songwriters of our century, and surely wouldn't fill up stadiums. And by the way, what makes her and many other famous songwriters and producers' arrangements truly unique is a topic I cover in my course. As what I really want, in addition of you finishing every track you start, is that you make great, unique music. You need to try something new in every track. It could be using a new synth, a sample pack you never used, or experiments with wild arrangements. Some ideas will fail, sure. The goal isn't to make every experiment work, but what you can learn from each experiment. And that leads me to step 4. Repeat these steps over and over and over and over and over again. But there are still 5 more mistakes I see self-taught music producers make that wreck their progress. Go watch this video to find out how to fix them. They will help you finish more tracks consistently.
The pieces don't fit together. Pieces don't fit together.
It's not quite a 10,000 piece puzzle.